Alright, so we made it to California. We're here at Team Alpha Male. Gonna go in and say what's up to Chris. This place is badass. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I kind of got like a glimpse of what they're doing, and it's absolutely insane. I can't wait for you to see this. This is nothing like any gym I've seen before. Like, this is taking it to the next level. Let's go check it out. There he is.
Hey,
what's up, dude?
How's it going?
All right, there he is. There's a man, Chris Holdsworth. Let's see the gym, bro.
What's up, guys? All right, let me show you around. So as we walk in, this is our fitness side where we have all our weights, our kettlebells. We got like a turf area for like sled pushes. We got all these true form free runners. These things are really cool. And then we just took over this side. We knocked down the wall and we took over this whole other side here.
This place is absolutely sick. Like, it's just so massive. I think the size of it probably won't come out on camera, but this place is just absolutely nuts. It's huge. And there's like, Chris already showed me, like, there's like 2 more huge sides to this building. It's the biggest gym I think I've ever been in my life. It's so dope. All right, see you guys in a bit.
Definitely got hemorrhoids now. Your turn. Wait till Daddy's done. One more. Got 3 more. Help me count. Help me count. You ready?
Now, it's hard for me to listen to myself. Like you know, the playback.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, dude, I don't even want to watch it because like
You sound like stupid as shit. Yeah,
I was
dude.
like, I'm over critiquing myself.
Yeah, and there's nothing you could do about it, man.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Whatever.
I hate the sound of my fucking voice.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, dude, people will call me and they'll be like, dude, your editing's all fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's like, because I couldn't bear to listen to myself one more fucking time
Yeah.
to edit that. What's up, guys? So, welcome back to F&G Academy. So, like we've been talking about, I'm here with my man, Chris Holdsworth, and the gym is fucking phenomenal. It's insane. But you know what? Already we've been having some phenomenal conversations about growing and getting better. I'm excited to be here, and I want to talk to Chris about what it's like being in the ring, talking to guys in the ring. I mean, I was watching you on that fucking UFC. Was it 2 weeks ago now? 2 Saturdays ago now?
Yeah, where Elkins fought.
Yeah. I think the fight in Colorado was like 3 p.m. start time, or 5 p.m. start time. So I'm like, I'm fucking nervous for you, because for the first time it's like, that's a homie, and his shit is on the line. So I'm like slamming the beers, like, dude. And Elkins was taking some snaps from that dude. He was. The crazy thing about that fight was, and you guys probably talk endlessly about fights, but I don't really talk to people about fights. So I'm gonna jump in real quick. The jiu-jitsu that Elkins was showing was insane, dude. Like, the way he was fucking dominating his ass and holding the ground. That was impressive. But for me, it was hard to watch, finally getting to know someone that's like dealing with that stress. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. I tell people all the time, it's like, you know, when I fought going into the ring, it's like a certain type of stress. Like, you kind of know what the feeling's gonna feel like if you fought before. But when your friends fight, or like, you know, the guys that you're cornering, the guys you actually work with and sweat and bleed with, like, it's a different type of anxiety. It's a different type of stress, because you're not in control of your own fate. It's like, you're there with them, but like, they're the ones fighting. They're the ones that are in there that are gonna throw down, and like, I'm on the outside looking in at it. So it's a lot different from actually being in the fight. different kind of anxiety, different kind of feeling. So yeah, I always tell people, I'm like, man, cornering is, I get more stressed out and more anxiety from cornering than I did fighting.
So what is it like? What is it like to get into like knowing 2 weeks in advance or 3 weeks in advance, like on this day and this time, it's fucking game on, and you're gonna fight this dude. He's gonna try to kill you, and you're gonna try to kill him, and there's nothing you can do about it. Your ass already signed on the dotted line. It's going, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, so I think it's different for everybody, right? Like I've had a few friends that their hardest part with the fight world was the actual lead up to a fight. They couldn't handle the stress and anxiety of leading up, knowing that they're going to fight somebody, that they have, their corner's not going to be in there with them. All they're going to, they have a date, they have a time, and they're going to throw down. So and then I have guys that are on the total opposite spectrum of, they don't care. It's just like another day of training. They're like, you know what I mean? They're totally calm with it. For me, I always fell back on my training. So if I knew I 100%, 1000% gave everything I have, I know I've been in the gym, I've been sleeping well, I've been eating well, I've been visualizing that date, visualizing possible things that can happen, possible things that can go wrong, and just going through the scenarios over and over in your head, seeing your hand getting raised. For me, that always helped me the most, just visualizing and then training my butt off, knowing that I did everything I could to get the win, but if I don't get the win, I did everything I could, and I left it all in there. I'm not second guessing afterwards, and because I think that's the worst, when people get a loss and they're like, man, I could have done this differently, I could have done that differently.
Because at the end of the day, right, it's all about the next fight. So quick story for something that happened to me in war, dude, it's fucking embarrassing. And I actually talk about this in the book, and because it's like I have to just get it off my chest. So I had a 320 attached to my hip, to my side, and the grenade launcher. And my senior was like, dude, you're gonna, because there was no attachment yet, and he's like, you're gonna route that through the trigger well? And I had a bandolier of rounds on my waist, and I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, it's not loaded, and I'll leave it on safe. I was like, so who gives a shit? And he's like, all right, fuck it. And I strapped it like that, and sure enough, the fucking bullets start flying. I load a round in, I go to launch it because I know where the dude's at. And this CIA guy calls me up. He's like, hey, come up here. There's a better shot. So I attach it back. I put it on safe, but I attach it back through the trigger with the fucking round in it. And this guy's, he grabs me and he's pulling me up the wall, and it fucking launches, dude. It slides it off safe. It pulls because he's pulling me up like this, so it's sliding on my side. And it goes, toom. And my fucking leg is shaking. And it's like, I knew that I just fucked up so bad that I didn't want to go to war. I didn't want to be in war anymore. Like if I had a quit button, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get me the fuck out of here. Like I bit off more than I could chew. So I guess that kind of just relates, because it's like if you live in the past so much, then you can't move on to the next thing. And it was really hard, like initially, to get past that for me.
Yeah, like we tell people, like if you got a bad loss, you just have to keep going, keep looking forward, keep your head up, and keep it in the rear view, because if you're just focusing on that loss, you're just going to get all depressed, and you're not going to be able to learn from it and look towards the future and the positive. So I tell guys, like, man, you lost, learn from it, make some changes, and then let's get after it on the next one. Let's train our ass off so hard that we're not going to make those mistakes again, and we're going to get this next win. There's always that next mission. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that seems like another thing that's harder for you guys, right? Because like we're a fucking team. Like we're a team of dudes when we go into combat. You guys are in there by yourself. It's your name. Like no one else could take that responsibility for you. And even probably more than that, you have your whole team on your shoulders to want to get the win for them. So like I can't imagine, like, okay, one loss. What about 2 in a row? What about 3 in a row? Like, how is that affecting your mindset? That's got to be tearing you apart.
Yeah. Like just for example, our guy Darren Elkins. Like you watched him fight. That he was on a 4-fight losing streak.
Wow.
And that's a guy who's had 22 fights now, I think, in the UFC. He's He's got the most fights in the featherweight division. He's got the most takedowns in the featherweight division, the most top riding time. He's coming off of 4 losses, off of like a 6-fight win streak, and then all of a sudden 4 losses to all tough guys. Volkanovski, the champ, all these guys. And you know what Elkin says is he had to get back to having fun with his training. He had to get back to not over analyzing the losses. Like, you have to look forward. You have to go back to what you did before that was successful, having fun with your training, the pressure, and going back to what you're best at. You know, when guys start changing and they do things that are out of the norm or something, you know, it's not gonna be beneficial most of the time. You know, when it's time to go to war or time to fight, right?
Well, and that makes sense because it's like, well, these guys do it a lot. And no offense, guys, we're here to help you, and that's what we're trying to talk about this stuff. But you guys overanalyze the fuck out of stuff like selection. I get questions about how far should I run, how much should I run, how many steps, like how bad should it hurt, you know, how many times a week. And it's like, just like a fighter, you have to at some point turn that switch off and be like, you know what, it's fucking send time. Like, you've done everything you can and you just got to send it.
Yeah, it can be a number of things. Like, people overanalyze. They don't want to go hard in training because they're scared they're going to get injured for the fight. And then they don't put in the effort that they should have, and then they lost because they got tired in the 3rd round. You know what I mean?
So they think they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, they think they're doing the right thing, but they're really not. So all you can do is, you know, I think people need to stick to the basics and fundamentals. They need to put in the work necessary to feel good about their goals, you know, write down their goals, feel good about what they're doing, and attack every day like it's your last day. Like, if you have a goal, you better go out there and do something that day to accomplish and to get closer to that goal. If that's, you know, running 1 mile because, you know, you can't run more than 1 mile, like, that's what you need to do. If that's shadow boxing because you want to get better at footwork in your boxing, like, that's what you need to do. And that goes for everything. You need to make small incremental improvements, and those small incremental improvements are going to add up in the long run. You're not going to, you know, build Rome overnight, right? Like, this takes time. This takes a lot of effort and consistency, and that goes for everything. That goes for the fight game. That goes for trying to be a Green Beret or get through selection. It's all very similar.
It's crazy. It's like we're talking about the same thing, because it's like you have to make those small. But people don't want that. They, just like we were talking about earlier, they just want a quick fix. Like, tell me what I need to do to go make it happen right now, because you're feeling motivated right now. Well, it's like, well, that separates the men from the boys, is that your motivation's gonna wane. Like, I guarantee you that you guys get hundreds of fighters in here that want to fight.
Yeah, like, well, what can I do? Like, what's the first step? Or like, I get, you know, a white belt coming in, like, Chris, like, how do I become a black belt, or how do I get better at jiu-jitsu? And, you know, it's the same thing. Like, a black belt is a white belt that never quit. And I'm sure, you know, in your realm, it's, you know, a guy who gets selected or gets into special operations or gets to the goal that he wants to get to. It's a guy who never quit. It's a guy who got through basic training. It's a guy who got through infantry. It's a guy who goes through SFAS, you know, or whatever route they take, airborne, whatever they're going to do. It's the same thing with the fight game or jiu-jitsu. You have to show up every day. You have to make those small improvements and to reach that end goal. It does not happen overnight.
When you are at that fight and when you are cornering, or whatever fight that you are cornering, do you find yourself saying similar things, or is it like fighter dependent? But like, how do you motivate dudes in those kind of situations?
You know, every fighter is different. You know, one guy, you know, I can bring his family into it and say, like, hey, do it for DJ or do it for Emma. Or another guy, you know, I just tell them, like, here we go, we're about to walk into the cage. You know, we got to get our little hug in before. My number one thing I tell guys, like, I always drop the sign, like, believe in yourselves. If you don't believe in yourselves, you're not going to get anything accomplished. You got to have confidence in yourself. I try to visualize good things that happen in fights and then bad things that happen in fights. So I can see it in my mind before it actually happens. So like a month, 2 months out, if I know I have a fight, I'm visualizing what I want to do, how the fight's going to go. I hear the crowd, I hear the claps, I hear the referee. You ready? You ready? And I try to visualize what my plan of attack is going to try to be like. And then I kind of go over things like you talked about. Boom, I just got rocked. I'm in the worst position. I'm seeing stars, but I always find a way out of it. I always find a way back to my feet. I always find a way to win or solve the problem. I always find a way out of that bad scenario. And then I think that can, be useful in life in general. Just like, you get knocked down for anything. You lose your job, you get into a car accident, be positive about it, work yourself out of that bad scenario, and, just keep living life, keep pushing through.
That reminds me of that video I just did recently where it was talking about like not quitting, and it was like you have to plan on the lows. The lows are gonna come in a selection. Like their job is to fuck you up.
Yeah.
So the lows are gonna come. So that makes perfect sense. I didn't think about that, but it's the same thing. Like you got to plan on. Yeah, you take one, and now you don't know where you're at anymore. Because dude, I remember this. One time in basic, and this is going all the way back to basics before any of the cool stuff, dude. But you have to do this clinch drill, and you have to like clinch up the instructor, and until you clinch up with them, he's not going to stop beating your ass. And I didn't know if he was a Golden Gloves boxer, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I went to clinch him thinking I was just going to grab him and it was going to be over, and he uppercutted me, blah, dude, right in my face, and I dropped to my knees, and I was like, I don't know where I was. I was fucked up. Like I couldn't even imagine fighting through that and then having to come back, because he's an instructor, right? He's not going to keep beating my ass.
But what did that teach you though?
Dude, it taught me that there's like a different level that you're not used to being in. It showed me that, like, dude, there's a whole nother like layer of fight that you have to like find and get out of.
Well, that's the whole part of training. You want to go through things, put yourself in the worst case scenario, stress inoculation. You guys do that all the time. Having to hit certain targets for, in a certain amount of time, or, get certain shots off. Same thing with, MMA and fighting. Like, we want to put these guys in the worst case scenario, get them as tired as we can get them, so they know that they went through all that in training. So when they get into the fight, they've been there before. And I tell guys all the time, like, I would much rather you get tired in the gym than get tired in the cage. So we try to put them through as much stress as possible before the actual fight. So number one, their body is ready, and most importantly, their mind is ready. And I think that translates to what you guys do as well. And then talking about injuries, you know how many times I've been injured in a training camp, or getting ready for a tournament, or getting ready for something big, and something in the back of my head is like, oh man, like you can either wimp out and then cancel or not fight, or you can work around that injury, keep the conditioning going, keep your body going, and just mentally be strong and get through those little humps, those little things that like don't want you to succeed. There's always going to be like those little roadblocks. Get hurt, and on your way to selection, or what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to reevaluate, and you're going to go into the next rotation, or get into the next class to conquer that goal. And that's the same thing with jiu-jitsu or fighting. There's been plenty of times where I've been hurt, and I'm like, man, I'm second guessing myself. Like, can I make it to the fight? Can I make it to this next training session? And yes, you can. Work around the injury. Of course, there's injuries where you can't do anything, but that's where mental toughness comes in, and that's where resilience comes in, and you have to have that to be successful in life as well.
Absolutely. All right, guys, that's a perfect place to end this. We just crushed it with you guys. If you didn't get anything valuable out of talking to an MMA fighter and a Green Beret in the same fucking room about overcoming your fears, well, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're probably not teachable, as they like to say, and you're going to find a desk job somewhere, because this isn't the realm for you. If you're not a teachable kind of guy, then you're not going to be an MMA fighter, and you're definitely not going to be a fucking Green Beret. So, all right, guys, that's it. That was an awesome conversation with Chris. I'm going to go check out the gym with him now and take a piss. Catch you later.